Charlie.
How are you?
You look like a fucking
I
prize.
get my stupid headphones to work here. Something that'll work. Let me see if these ones will work. Hold on a second.
No, they work good.
My headphones aren't working for me, though.
Oh, okay.
Discovered you.
I do owe my whole career to you. I was struggling until Bobby Lee discovered me.
Oh, no, not discover you in terms of like you did it on your own, obviously, but no, in terms of my awareness of you.
Oh.
Can I tell you that story?
Oh, no, I remember it was a big day in my career. Bobby Lee is finally aware of me. Am I on Bobby Lee's radar?
See, this is what he's going to.
This is when things start to happen.
I'm not going to allow this to happen.
Reversal.
I'm not going to allow this to happen.
Reversal.
Yeah. I'm just going to plug away. You know what I mean?
Listen, you can talk to him all you want. I can hear it.
Did you see my Adam Sandler interview?
Kevin Nealon. Dude, people told me that you fanned out so bad. This is how much I love you. This is how much I love Burr Kreitzer. When you were like this, hang on a second. Hang on, Adam, hang on a second. I have a story I want to tell.
Porn, I got to have a childhood. Can you imagine if that shit was around when I was, oh my God, I can't, like these kids nowadays, it's like they're 8 years old and the brain damage they have, it's like they've been on the Vice Squad for like 40 years.
You're not glad, but like the two interviews are H3H3 and Theo Vaughn, where everyone's like, did you see that interview? And by the way, knowing you, I don't see anything wrong with the interview.
I had a great time on the Theo Vaughn thing. I don't know what the fuck happened with that.
I don't know either.
I left out. We had a good time. I showed him my truck. We had a great fucking time.
I thought you guys had a great time. I thought it was a great interview. I think it is, I knowing both of you, you were not you, and he was not him.
People like to take a little fucking thing and then gas it up and make it something else, and then it becomes like, that's all they're doing.
That's
like,
all.
What's funny is the average douchebag on these fucking social media is no different than these giant corporate news agencies where they're just taking shit out of context to cause something that didn't even happen, so you'll stop and watch it so they can make money off of views.
Yeah.
And people on the internet do the exact same thing. They know exactly where to cut it, where to begin it, and where to end it to take it from a level 2 up to fucking 12.
I watched you and Theo's whole interview, didn't find anything wrong with it, including what people will say is how it ended, which is you going, I have to go, I have to leave now.
Yeah, my kid was getting up. It had nothing to do with him.
And then I watched the you got to see this interview with Bill and Theo, and they chop it up to make it look like you don't like him, you don't get him. And
they do that with Rogan, where they'll do like his reaction, that guy, and they totally make a completely different interview that didn't even happen.
Oh yeah, you don't have to tell me about that. That's all my interviews.
Yeah, so why would you watch that shit? I don't watch it.
I watch it, but I don't know. But that doesn't.
You know what? Fuck you, Bert.
They're gonna cut this up now.
It's funny because like even. I have to admit, like I've discovered a couple of comics that I love that could be, Republicans or whatnot, right? They're not out, but you hear rumors, and my initial response is,
what is wrong with that?
I know. I'm just there's nothing wrong with that.
Yes, they're not out.
Yeah, they're not out as Republicans.
No, they keep their stuff private, is what I meant.
Yeah, because liberals are out of their fucking.
I understand that. I understand that. But
good Lord.
Listen to my fucking point, though.
Okay.
Let me finish my point. Okay. My initial reaction is like, right, but it's like, no, I'm just gonna make up a name. It's Joey. He's a good guy. You know what I mean? It's like, it's like it has nothing to do with we're in it. Just listen, Bill. Right?
Well,
we're in a volatile like.
I just love how judgmental the left is. You don't know anything about. Oh, he's a good guy.
Dude, it's like messing with my whole. I had this big discussion with my wife last night talking about the irresponsibility of religion with a higher power, where they go like, oh, people have freedom of choice. So it's just like, so when a serial killer is born, that's not on God at all. Like, whoa, leaned a little too far this way on that. Like, that's not on him at all. He gets to walk away from all of that. And if you watch like all of these nature videos and just how the whole thing is set up, that, the big eat the little, and how there's certain animals that their only way of survival, like rabbits, No fucking defense whatsoever. Their only defense that they get is that they can fuck so much and have so many of them that you can't wipe them out. But the second you're a rabbit, you know I'm going to get killed by a snake, eaten by a coyote, ripped apart by wild dogs. That is their fucking existence, and they don't hurt anybody.
Their sex must be so frantic and anxious and fueled by, I'm finished, the snake's going to come any moment.
I know,
I've got to
looking over
ejaculate.
your shoulder
What,
as you
Jesus?
bang.
Fucking walked into the singles bar. What did women always say? What do you do? They're not making small talk. Okay? Women all fucking judge, okay, their status. And then they get a number in their head. All right? And then they find out the jobs, okay, that earn this and earn that. And then they figure like who they can fuck. Okay? And then it becomes a thing of like, okay, you're underneath what I want for the lifestyle that I'm looking for in the future. But you're a good looking enough guy that I'll fucking bang you tonight. Maybe I'll have a little fling with you. But that's at the end of the fucking day, you know, when you slid that piece of paper across the table and you made your offer, say, my dick and balls bring home this each year. They're like, yeah, keep it moving. Keep it moving. That's 10 grand less than I want, and you got that one snaggletooth. Fuck off. Move on. Who's next? Go ahead. Put your junk on the table. What's your number?
It's nice to be back here down in the South, man. I had a real weird experience last time I came down here. I was in Nashville, right? Sort of an awkward social situation, right? I'm sitting at this bar. There's this white dude sitting like 2 stools away. I don't know him. He doesn't know me. And that Terrell Owens story was in like sports news. So I try to make conversation. I'm like, man, look at this guy. This guy just signed a $40 million contract. He's already bitching, man. How much money do you need to make? And the dude looks at me. He's like, you know what I say? And then he looked over his shoulder, which I now know is the telltale sign that the N-word is coming, and it's coming hard. Oh, yeah, it's not going to be pronounced with the A. It's going to be with the R. And he hit the R. He, like, stuck the landing. There was, like, a dismount. Klan members high-fiving in the background, like doing the wave. Just out of nowhere. So now, immediately, I'm looking over my shoulder like, dude, what the hell are you doing? You know what I mean? I'm waiting for, like, this hail of black fists to come raining down on top of me. I hate when people do stuff like that. That dude made me part of, like, a potential ass-kicking that I had nothing to do with. You don't do shit like that. He just had that word, hot potato, just threw it in my lap. Like, trying to pass it down to the next white dude. I hate when people do that, man. You know, it's like, dude, feel me out first. Ask some questions. Do you like to fish? Have you ever fucked your sister, right? I start rattling off answers, then you go old school. You give me a pamphlet, you tell me about your militia. Don't just dive into it. That dude was one of the angriest people I ever met. I should have known that word was coming, because he was just watching Terrell, right? Anytime I would bring up, look at man, that guy's talking trash, he would just like flip out. He won't shut up! You know those people get like so mad they're not even looking at you? Their eyes are up, you just shut up and play the game! You know what's funny? I don't even like Terrell, but now I love the guy. Because every time I see him talking trash, I know this idiot in Nashville is just losing his mind, like kicking over his kitchen TV. Shut the fuck up! I like violence, man. I am. Not like when it happens to me or if I see it live. I like watching it on TV, you know? Watching people, you know, get attacked by animals. Just get blasted in the face or something, you know? Like, I'm a huge sports fan. You know my favorite, like, moment of, like, the last year was in sports? That Detroit Piston, Indiana Pacer bench clearing brawl. Wasn't that great? That was one of the greatest things I've ever seen. I was so confused when I watched ESPN that day. They were like, that was absolutely disgraceful. Basketball fans, they just must be... I'm sitting there looking like, I'm a basketball fan. I loved it. I thoroughly enjoyed watching out-of-shape civilians get the shit kicked out of them by professional athletes. It was fascinating. And I think as sports fans, we kind of had it coming, right? Because how many times you gone to a game, right? You got a little too drunk, you started screaming at some dude on the field who could clearly kick the shit out of you, right? If you saw him in the parking lot, you'd be like, hey, can you sign my stamp collection? I think you're awesome. You get in the game, you're all drunk, you're like, you suck, buddy! You're a piece of shit! And they're always calling him up, come on up here! No, come on up here! Well, they came up there. They did, and they kicked the shit out of everybody. It was great. It was like a cartoon. You're like beating up whole rows of people at once, like... I loved every second. I love how Ron Artest punched the wrong guy. Wasn't that great? He taught that dude a valuable lesson in life. When shit goes down, you don't just stand there like you're watching a movie like, wow, it's coming right at me. Must be in 3D or something. That was a 5'6", 110-pound white dude, had an angry 6'10" black dude running right at him. That had to have been in his top 3 nightmares all time. Right behind getting his dick cut off and being lit on fire. And he just stood there. He's like trying to explain himself. Well, I still have the liquid in my cup, so there's no way I could have... He's an idiot.
Sean Connery died. The great Sean Connery. Yeah, my favorite James Bond of all time. Yeah, and he was getting a proper send-off for about 8 minutes on Twitter, and then the first hairy-legged white chick shows up, right? And she's just got to be like, really? Really? Are we really going to celebrate this man who advocated the hitting of women? It's like, first of all, he didn't advocate hitting women, okay? He just said, you know, every once in a while, you give him a little slap. Yeah, give him a little back of the hand. You remind them who's making the box office. You reset their hard drive. That's all he said, okay? Yes, it's a crazy statement in 2021. 1976, you know, it's not good, but it's not crazy. Right? And he's born in 1930. You gotta put the shit in historical perspective. You ever watch, I love old movies. You ever watch movies from the 30s, 40s, and 50s? Yeah. Anytime a woman even has heightened emotion, there's some guy like, get a hold of yourself, see? Yeah, go make me a pie, put it on the windowsill. Right? That's what he grew up watching. I grew up in the 70s. I thought being a truck driver was a cool thing. You know, you had a monkey for a friend. You're going around, chicks showing their titties. I thought that was the world. I had no idea. That's what I was watching. My thing is okay, so if you're going to cancel all of these fucking dead guys, and you're going to shit all over them after they're dead and they can't defend themselves, why are you only going after men? You know, what about all the horrible women in history? You can't just go after the men. That would be sexist. And this is what they don't want. You know? I mean, what about Coco Chanel? Great example. Coco Chanel, widely considered a feminist icon. She started her own purse factory, right? In the 19-teens or 20s, whatever the hell she did. I can't imagine the sexism that she had to deal with, you know? An amazing accomplishment. Hats off to her, right? However, she was also a Nazi sympathizer. Yeah, that's like half her fucking Wikipedia page. Just sitting there, waiting for someone to read it. Right out in the open, nothing. So evidently what happened was, in World War II, old Adolf came rolling into town, okay, with his tanks with the Porsche engines in them, took over the town in like fucking 90 minutes. She freaked out. She closes up her shop, right? Figured out where all the head Nazis were staying, what hotel. She moved in there, and she started a relationship with one of the Nazis. Yeah, she started fucking a Nazi. You ever see those Holocaust videos? Huh, with those piles of kid shoes? Yeah, she was sucking the dick that did that. Now, just to refresh my memory, what did Sean Connery do again?
Oh, you know, every once in a while you give him a little slap. That's what he did. She's sitting there like, hey, Adolf, what's going on? She so sold out her own country, she had to flee it at the end of the war. And I have no idea how many dicks she had to suck to get back in it. But I'll tell you, despite all of that, I still don't judge her. I don't. Because I've never been in that situation. You know, I've never been in a country where all of a sudden the most powerful army the world has ever seen comes in and takes it over in a couple hours. She must have been terrified, right? And she's a woman. You know, she's into fashion. They show up with those Hugo Boss uniforms. You know, her knees buckle a little bit. Things start getting ugly. People are getting shot in the street. She's freaking out. You know. And she's a woman. And women know, push comes to shove, when you get your back against the wall, no matter how bad it gets, they always have the option of fucking their way out of a situation. They always got that card they can play, right? All women know this. All women know this. Men don't realize this till they go to prison. But women learn this early on. She had the option, and she took it. I can't get mad at her for that, you know? So she's dead and gone. I think she's up there in heaven. I think she made it. She's up there with Sean Connery. Every once in a while, they have a disagreement. He gives a little slap, you know? She doesn't care. Once you shit on a Nazi's chest, I mean, a little backhand's not going to freak you out. Jesus can't say anything. He got a hooker, right? Everybody's got a little something they did. Yeah, there you go. So, still buy your Coco Chanel. She's still a hero. She was a victim. She was a victim of that time. She was frightened. She was scared. She didn't know what to do.
Did you watch the interview? Like I
watched it.
I just kept waiting to be surprised. Maybe I just know white people because I'm white. Like I was just like, well, yeah, that kind of seems like. Didn't they have a guy there a long time ago? He was like some Indian guy, and the nickname they gave him was Sooty. He was such a sellout. He's going, no, it was a term of endearment. I liked it. And he was like the only Indian dude at the golf club. And it's just like, yeah, those guys exist in like 1860.
Yeah. Royal duties are like fucking exhausting, and you don't have freedom. You have no freedom. You got that from what I'm seeing.
I know they live in a castle, but how about the fact you can never move out?
Yeah.
You never move out of your parents' house, and you're just fucking sitting there. Dude, how sick do you get of fucking recitals? Ah, fuck, some cunt's coming over here with a cello. I got to get all dressed up in my ruffles. The fuck are we doing here?
I mean, Prince.
You want to go to a fucking soccer game and get shit-faced and eat fish and chips like everybody else. And you got to fucking sit there. Bum, 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 bum.
Dude, I tell you what, I wouldn't mind. I just because they seemed pretty lax on when you can drink and how much you can drink. I wouldn't mind being a Prince and just have one of those. You know, it seemed like Prince Philip always had a fucking cocktail in his hand, and the guy's 100 years old. So you get doctors all over you.
Dude, you and I would definitely be the Ted Kennedys of that fucking family. I don't like talking about super personal shit, but just say my family was a little more open-minded than the average family. You know, we've definitely, fucking had our issues and shit.
Yeah.
But like, it wasn't a,
no one asked what the skin color of your kids are going to be. That's what the big thing is. They were like, how dark's Archie going to be? And you're like, what the fuck?
I mean, it's like they're just fucking they're just backwards people, dude, and they're all fucking each other. I will tell you this. This is my take on all of that shit.
Yeah.
Okay. I have the answer to all of that as far as like when it comes to racism and should people be together and mix and all of that. How beautiful my kids are.
Yeah.
Is the answer. And then if you look at the royal family, who've all been fucking in the same pond, like purebred fucking Dalmatians. I mean, they're some of the ugliest fucking people. I mean, this just a sea of fours walking through that fucking. They're a mess, dude. Yeah. Fucking Prince Charles was one of the ugliest fucking people I've ever seen in my. He was never good looking.
He was a weird kid too, weird child growing up.
They're all weird. They're all weird because they're all sitting in the castle fucking each other. So that's my question. You looking at these weird, ugly-ass white people living in this fucking castle. Why? I can't believe she went in there and made it out. Now I get it. I'm gonna figure this out by 70.
I want to figure. Can I tell you what I'm dying to talk to you about?
Okay.
One of the things that happens the most on the internet is Bill Burr interviews gone wrong. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Is like.
What am I good? Do you Google yourself?
Oh no! It's like you have an unawareness about you that that you don't realize
That's
how much.
That's such a great way of saying you're kind of glib.
No, you're not glib.
Have this childlike.
You're not glib, but like the two interviews are H3H3 and Theo Von, where everyone's like, "Did you see that interview?" And by the way, knowing you, I don't see anything wrong with the interview.
I had a great time on the Theo Von thing. I don't know what the fuck happened with that.
I don't know either.
I left that. We had a good time. I showed him my truck. We had a great fucking time.
I thought you guys had a great time. I thought it was a great interview. I think it is. I knowing both of you. You were not you, and he was not him.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I'll do his podcast again. And the thing about it is I understand his vibe more.
Yeah.
So it's just
his
like
vibe
anything.
is tough to gel with. Like if you're completely in the dark of what you're doing, it takes you a second to double dutch into it.
He's one of my favorite comics.
Dude, he is.
Yeah, I don't
so
fucking so
funny.
Like. People like to take a little fucking thing and then gas it up and make it something else, and then it becomes like, that's all they're doing.
That's
like
all.
What's funny is the average douchebag on these fucking social media is no different than these giant corporate news agencies where they're just taking shit out of context to cause something that didn't even happen, so you'll stop and watch it. So they can make money off of views.
Yeah.
And people on the internet do the exact same thing. They know exactly where to cut it, where to begin it, and where to end it to take it from a level 2 up to fucking 12.
I watched you and Theo's whole interview, didn't find anything wrong with it, including what people will say is how it ended, which is you going, I have to go, I have to leave now.
Yeah, my kid was getting up. It had nothing to do with him.
And then I watched the you got to see this interview with Bill and Theo, and they chop it up to make it look like you don't like him, you don't get him. And
they do that with Rogan, where they'll do like his reaction, that guy, and they totally make a completely different interview that didn't even happen.
Oh yeah, you don't have to tell me about that. That's all my interviews.
Yeah, so why would you watch that shit? I don't watch it.
I watch it, but I don't know. But that doesn't.
You know what? Fuck you, Bert.
They're gonna cut this up now. It's funny because it's like someone will say something. Did you see that with Bill? And I go, yeah, I did. And it's just Bill. It's Bill and it's Theo. Like, how do you not see past just two dudes?
Transgender fan. Hey, all right, look at me crossing over here. Hey, Billy, I've been listening to the podcast since I was 16. I'm 22 now, and I've enjoyed every episode, especially during quarantine. I'm a violinist, sculptor, and a trans man. Look at you. Definition in the next paragraph. Thank you. And have been wanting to write in for a while. After hearing you read the letter a fan sent in about his trans friends attending his wedding, I thought now would be the time. Oh, beautiful. All right, let me do the recap. So this guy was getting married, and not one but two of his friends that he was going to have be groomsmen either had transitioned or were in the process of transitioning. And he was like, am I an asshole if I don't want him to wear a dress? Okay, that was the question. So me knowing nothing about the subject, that didn't stop me from answering it. That's in the, I believe, the previous or 2 episodes ago. All right, so now we're going to actually hear from somebody living the life here. First off, I do want to clarify that by trans man, I mean I transitioned from female to male. Oh, fuck, okay. I didn't get that. I thought trans man meant you went the other way. Okay. In instrument rating, that would be reverse sensing on a VOR for all you pilots out there. In short, I'm a he. In your response to the fan that wrote in, you said that transitioning seems like a massive emotional process, and you were exactly right. Hey, look at me. Look at me. Not bad for a cis white male. When I describe the experience, which I do openly, to create a dialogue for people who are genuinely curious, I often say that transitioning is not an option, but more so the only option for most people like me. Let me ask you this. Before you totally committed, was there any doubt like, okay, I hope, because, I mean, I hope I'm doing the right, I hope I'm getting this right. Because I can't tell you how many times I've misread my feelings. I mean, but the stakes were not that high. That's like fucking, you're going all in with the chips, so to speak. Anyway, he goes, imagine you wake up one day with boobs and are expected to wear heels. After the novelty of having 24/7 access to tits wears off, it fucking sucks. Let me read this again. Imagine you wake up one day with boobs and are expected to wear heels. All right, now wait a minute. I thought you transitioned from a woman to a man. I mean, I transitioned from female to male. Okay. It says, imagine you wake. Oh, maybe he's putting me in this. I don't know. Imagine you wake up one day with boobs and are expected to wear heels. After the novelty of having 24/7 access to tits wears off, it fucking sucks. Nobody chooses to go through all of that trouble of being alienated from friends and family members on a whim. Well, there you go. You just answered my question. For me, if I wanted to have a future post-high school, I had to make this step, and I have avoided a lot of further mental dissonance thanks to the scientists and surgeons who advocated for trans medicine. And yes, I will always trust the opinions of a scientist over a politician. Fair enough. As the wedding scenario goes, I can guarantee his trans grooms were just as conflicted as him. I also came out right before a relative's wedding and was given an ultimatum of, you either lie about your identity if you want to remain a part of this family, or you won't be welcomed back into our lives. It's just fucking, can you imagine your family saying that to you? I ended up playing violin at their ceremony for free and never getting invited to another family reunion. Wow. That is really fucking sad. I'm sorry that happened to you. Hopefully, Jesus, in the near future, that doesn't happen. How do you disown your own kid? I don't get that. I don't get that. I mean, I draw the line of, hearing my kid leave and then getting charged with at night in covering for a murder. I mean, there are lines. Yeah, you do some Dateline shit, I mean, you're kind of out on your own. But I'd still visit you when you went to jail, and I would be like, where did I fuck up that made you do something like that? Anyway, personally, if I were asked to be a bridesmaid before coming out as a guy, I would have stepped down because I don't want to be the one guy in a traditionally female role. I'm betting this guy's trans grooms people felt similar. I have to fucking do the math on that. I would have stepped down because I don't want to be the one guy in a traditionally female role. I don't know what that means. I'm betting this guy's trans grooms people felt similar. I hope you guys understood what that meant. I didn't get that one sentence. Okay, and here's where the rant opens up. All right, here we go. Taking the gloves off there. All right, a lot of trans people are really pissed by the false and performative allyship the far left has dumped on us with little work to back their claims up. Yeah, it's a fucking show. That's what I think so much of that liberal social justice fucking horseshit is. It's just for you to put on a little performance on your social media page And people can be like, oh, wow, you're an ally. Here's your little rainbow fucking emoji. And then you can just go back to living your life and you're not getting your hands dirty. It's like those white people that marched with Black Lives Matter as they were live Instagramming themselves. Like, look at me. I have a bandana on. I'm a fucking revolutionary. And then after that, they just went back to their life. Got CrossFit in the morning. We are identifying more as independents because we've experienced hate from the right and tokenism from the left. Oh, yeah, you get used. I mean, which is worse? At least, I mean, I know the hate, if it escalates to violence, is bad, but at least if somebody's just straight up says how they feel about you, as opposed to just using you. Anyway, I think a lot of your jokes about trans people are actually more about performative cis people. I don't know what cis means, who are using trans issues for votes because they know we are a very vulnerable group. Well, they kind of do that with everybody. I guess that's the only positive way. Politicians always do that. They're always fucking looking for some fucking angle for themselves. Anyway, but not all of them. They're not all bad. There's got to be some good ones in there. Trans people just want to live a normal life, start a family, and not be claimed as a political pawn. I was at my lowest depression before I started hormones and got my chest masculinization procedure. What chest did you go with? Are they good enough that you can pick one out? Because personally speaking, I would go fucking Matthew McConaughey. But here's the thing. You know what's funny is if they actually get it down someday where you could do that, all of these fucking people who are like anti-trans and all of that shit, if they find out that you can actually get a Matthew McConaughey chest and they're looking at their fucking man tits, they might do it. You know? I got the McConaughey. You know, right before they fucking put the fucking gas on your face, you have headphones, and the last thing you hear is Matthew McConaughey going, all right, all right, all right. And you wake up with a chiseled tan chest. That'd be fucking hilarious if I did that as a redhead and my chest didn't match the whiteness of my head. Then I have to go reverse Michael Jackson, and do a reverse bleaching. Anyway, let's not make this about you, Bill. Anyway, he says, I haven't left the house in weeks. I hadn't left the house in weeks and nearly dropped out of school. Since transitioning, I'm happy, back on stage, volunteering, writing music. That's great. Teaching violin students, running my small business. There you go. Don't work for somebody else. And I have met someone special. Oh, look at you. I know from an outside perspective, being trans seems crazy. If you knew the thunder and lightning between my fucking ears, I don't think anybody's crazy. I think it's fucking crazy to go through life and not think that you're kind of fucking nuts yourself. Walking around thinking you have it all figured out. I think that that's fucking crazy. I'm not going to lie to you. Like shit freaks me out without a doubt. I'm not saying this shit, but I will tell you when Bruce became Caitlyn, there was definitely, a what the fuck moment. Now I'm used to it. But what was weird about that was if you were like me, you weren't for some reason allowed to have that what the fuck moment. Which is one of those things that the left is like psychotic with. It's like you got to let everybody kind of go through their emotions as long as they're not hurting anybody. You're processing it. That's all, right? So anyway, this person says, I felt the same way until I realized I would always be an angry, sad person if I had stayed in the closet. I started listening to your podcast the same month I came out back in 2017 and have not been offended by the jokes about trans people. Contrary to what the far left or right wants you to think, trans folk have a pretty thick skin and we're no strangers to having to advocate for our rights. I've been doing a lot of work on undoing the anger I built up over my teenage years, and listening to your show has given me laughs when I needed them the most. Thanks, and go fuck yourself. Wasn't that great? Look at me, huh?
I'm going to make that whole fucking thing about me. You know, the appeal of me, it's just really amazing. And you guys, I just want to say, as a podcast justice warrior, all right, so if anybody is listening to this and your kid is gay and they came out and you disowned them, can you not do that to them? That's such a fucking horrible thing to do to somebody. It really is. It really is. It's like, just try to be, just fucking work your way through it. You know what I mean? It's, I don't get it. I don't fucking get it. That happens to me with one of my kids. I mean, it's you. Just be who the fuck you are, and don't be a fucking asshole to other people. That's all I ask. Can you just do that? Great. All right.
So, anyways, I'm glad you're here to taper this part. So I was over here, and Nia showed me the cover of what magazine was that?
Vanity Fair.
Vanity Fair.
Are we talking about Caitlyn Jenner?
Yeah.
The Kardashians.
You just blew it. I was going to fucking build the whole thing up, and then because I was looking at it going,
yeah.
how do I know? I'm like, how do I know that chick? Is that somebody we know?
You're like, I know that woman.
And I'm thinking, she's not good enough. She's not good looking enough to be on the cover. Is she a publicist? Is she some famous publicist? And then it was me, Caitlyn Jenner. Caitlyn with a C.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I got to tell you, man, that is the
Congratulations, Caitlyn Cakes.
I know, I got to tell you, that's the most hardcore thing I've ever seen played out in, like, all that Marilyn Manson shit and Alice Cooper and Ozzy biting the head off a bat. Nothing compares to the what the fuck factor. And I'm not,
You're comparing like shock rock tactics to someone becoming transgendered. I really don't.
Somebody that you knew.
Not.
Can you let me
continue with your ignorant thought? Sure.
No, you shouldn't say that. This is the first time I ever experienced this. I had to be able to fucking say what I'm thinking. You see, his own daughters are going like, so wait a minute, you're going to be borrowing my toenail polish? They got to get their head around it. I'm allowed to get my head around it. God bless him. Okay, that's what he wanted to do. Well, he did it. Now he's a she. Is he? But he still has his dick, right?
Bill.
Does he?
She wants to be called she. She wants to be called Caitlyn.
Okay, I'm cool with that.
Call her she.
I'm all right with that.
She has not had surgery. No, she has not. I think that's something she might do in the future.
Okay, so she has a penis and she still is she at this point.
Correct.
So the reality is you don't have to do any of that. You could just say, I want to be called she, and people should just respect it.
Pretty much, because it's the whole idea about gender not necessarily being rooted in physicality or sexuality, it being more of a state of mind.
So this is like some...
Which is a big debate, of course. But
so this is like some Ornette Coleman shit.
Who's that?
With your body. Ornette Coleman, he was one of those guys who played so free with jazz, there was really no one, and even like Charlie Parker would walk off the bandstand going, I don't know what the fuck these guys are playing.
Okay.
Is that right? I think this is a groundbreaking thing.
Yep.
That he's the first, and he will be like, he's like the, I don't know.
First what, though?
Well, I'm not going to wade into that fucking sinkhole. God knows I'll say the wrong fucking thing.
There was a transgendered person on the cover of Time magazine last year, which was actually the first.
No, but I mean, as far as
Vern Cox from Orange Is the New Black.
What was her name before that? Larry?
I don't know, and it doesn't fucking matter.
I think you should keep your I would be. I go from Bill. I would be Beth.
Would you?
Beth.
Oh
Burr.
wait, can we talk about that? Let's talk about if you decided to transition. Would you really go by Beth?
No, I think I'd be Janet, and I would be such a cunt.
So pretty much the same, right?
Yeah. But you know me now as a male, I'm awarded for being an asshole. You know that ridiculous feminist theory that if a woman does it, she's a cunt, but if a guy does it, they're like, oh, you want to be president? Fucking morons.
I feel like men are definitely called assholes when they're assholes, but I don't think they're morons for saying that. Men get to
do what?
They get to act, especially in business, in a more, let's say, cutthroat. Like a Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban's a fucking dick, but Mark Cuban is also brilliant and a really successful businessman. But I feel like more often than not, he gets called brilliant and amazing.
No, he doesn't.
Even though
he gets called a jackass all the time.
Does?
All the time. And he runs out on the court and does all that stuff. Get off the court, you jackass.
I thought
Totally.
people were always saying, like, Mark Cuban is a, business genius and,
No, he is. But he is. He's undeniably is. But he doesn't get good reviews. That guy gets trashed all the time. No. You know what it is you guys have bad experiences with men while you're dating, and they get to be dicks and bang you and then leave, and you never quite are able to wash that off. So I think that you guys then look at us in a certain way.
I'm able to separate my experiences from dating dicks to dealing with dicks in day-to-day life. I am not so simple-minded and, like, one-dimensional that it's like, oh, my God, a guy dumped me one time, and now they're all dicks. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
But there was a period in your life. You can't tell me that you didn't get a little petty. I did.
I actually never did.
I did. All those guys that dumped me. No, I had it. Yeah,
I didn't necessarily have the greatest track record with men, but I didn't write you all off because of that. I still was looking for love.
Listen.
What?
All right. So what I'm saying is, as far as like the most hardcore fucking thing I've ever seen, as far as just spinning your head around like, holy shit, is the fact that Bruce Jenner, unlike that other woman who I don't even know who the fuck that is, who's on Time magazine, is that this guy, you gotta say, my whole life, I've known this guy from like second grade on. Yeah. He won the decathlon. He was on the Wheaties box. Mm-hmm. He was on Chips. He got a nose job, and then he disappeared, and then he came back on the Kardashians, and he was walking around in the background. And I remember Lawhead had this great fucking bit about, just being like, why are you sitting there getting bitched at? You got a fucking gold medal for the decathlon. They got you walking around in the background, I should be walking around with that medal around your neck or something, right? To then, I remember when TMZ was chasing around saying that he was having a sex change. I was like, oh my God, leave the guy alone. He doesn't like his face, and I don't know. He's doing whatever the fuck he's doing, and then it turned out they were right. And now when he comes out, call me Caitlyn. I mean, this is the thing, like, because what I don't get is there's going to be a lot of people that get in trouble as they're trying to fucking process this for the first time. This is their first time experience, and I think you ought to allow people to have that first dumb thing that comes out of their mouth, not understanding and being like, what? But everybody's going to jump on them. And someone will lose their career. To sit there and watch this guy, like you wanted to be this guy, you wanted to be Bruce Jenner. I wanted my hair parted down the middle and feathered to the side. I wanted to be a motorcycle cop. I wanted to do all of that shit. And then all of a sudden, I remember reading articles about him, like his fucking life, he's in between, girlfriends or whatever. And they went to his house and he had some Porsche Targa. I still remember this in Sports Illustrated. A Porsche Targa in the garage that he walked by and he ran his fingers along. He had a little bit of dust on it. I'm like, this guy, he's so this shit that he just has a leftover Porsche. I mean, this dude was like a guy's guy to then, boom, go that 180 the other fucking way.
Yeah, I think people should be definitely allowed to be honest with it. I just feel like the cruelty is what's unnecessary.
No, not cruelty, but you ought to be able to say, like, Bruce, what the fuck? Sorry, Caitlyn, what the fuck? Wow. Wait a minute. Can I sit down for a second?
They were talking to one of his sons from his other marriages, like Brandon or something, and he said, she lifted up her dress to show his son her new boobs.
No!
And he goes, whoa, I'm still your son. Because it's like, yeah, whoa, wait, just give me a second. And then another one of his sons.
No, but he would never, when he was show his balls.
Of course.
It's where you came from, son.
Of course. No, of course. It was definitely, that would be very weird.
No, but that's always been my theory.
But, and
girls who get fake boobs will show them to you like they got their nails done. Because it's an insecurity thing. So they'll be like, see? Check out the girls.
I have two friends with amazing boob jobs. I never would have known. They're so good. You gotta pay for it. You know what I'm saying? You can't go out in there and get discount plastic surgery.
You don't go to Denny's when you get a boob job.
Like,
right?
whatever. The facial reconstruction that Caitlyn has had is fucking amazing. Now, of course, she still is a handsome woman, but like, it looks good. And those tits,
I don't even know what you're talking about.
What
do you just mean she's still a handsome woman? Did you mean that She started off as a handsome guy.
No, there are some women that are like handsome.
This whole thing that I'm saying
Like
right now,
Katharine
listen to me.
Hepburn.
This whole thing that I just said.
What?
Do you mean like that? That's the handsome guy, or like the woman right now? You know what? This whole fucking scenario is why I never watched Lost.
What?
This is why I never watched Lost.
How did you come?
Because they were like, "Is this a dream state? Is there a fucking monster down here? What's going on?" And then now you're jumping back and forth on either side. It's like he's playing tennis against himself right now.
It's kind of like your ADD brain, actually.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
It's kind of like bringing around Insult Bill. Look, I'm on vacation. I'm trying to have a good time.
You, mon cher. But you know what else? One of his kids, her kids. See, even I'm slipping with the pronoun.
Oh, you homophobe, transgender hater. What's your career? We need to end it.
My career is lying around with you in France. Suck it.
Oh, that's that douche on Twitter who gave me shit. Anybody who starts a tweet with the word maybe, I'm done with.
Yeah.
Maybe don't blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
What a cunt.
Oh, no, I was saying one of Caitlin's sons said, I'm hoping, I think that, or something like that, Caitlin will be a better parent than Bruce was. Something like that. No, I mean, she's been pretty
That's
open
funny.
about it.
And then if Caitlin starts crying, be like, Caitlin, I wasn't talking to you. talking to Bruce.
No, by all accounts, especially his first set of kids,
I didn't
he
want
wasn't
him to
there.
hear.
Bruce wasn't there for them.
Because he was a fucking man.
And now that Bruce has become Caitlin, you think
hey,
tapping
Bruce,
into the femininity will
Bruce
be better?
won the gold medal. Caitlin still has to prove herself. She hasn't won shit yet.
She's won all of our hearts.
All right, but you know something else? Then there's also the falling all over yourself. There's the ignorant being mean about it. And then also going the other way where you fall all over yourself. And if Caitlin's being a cunt, you can't call her a cunt because she used to be Bruce, which is bullshit.
Well, I guess Bruce was an asshole because Bruce really wanted to be Caitlin and was struggling and was taking it out on other people and was literally running away.
I think Caitlin is going to be the biggest gossipy. She's going to go to brunch and just talk shit about everybody in her immediate circle.
I'm pretty excited to see how this unfolds, actually. It's pretty major. Are you going to watch her show?
No, I never watched the Kardashians.
Oh, that's true.
I hate those fucking shows.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And to be honest with you, I would have to, I'll just sort of walk by the TV and occasionally glance over. I need to ease my way into the fact.
You're gonna watch it over my shoulder.
And I have the fucking right to do that.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, when you make that big of a fucking change. Jesus Christ, I shaved my head. People like, what the fuck? Yeah, you got to give people. You got to be courteous. And let people like fucking, all right, let me, okay. You should have like 5-minute visits and then they increase to 10 and you just got to gradually it's like you killed off the other person. You know what I mean?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, like where are they?
Yep. Gone.
Yeah, so then it's weird. It's like, well, I technically should be liking you, right? But you're not the other person, but you're still you. Mm-hmm. Do you think he did something like he sold his soul to the devil and he's like trying to beat the devil at his own game? And now he's becoming like a woman at the end of his life so he can save his soul. And the devil's like, oh, where did Bruce go? And he's like, I don't know. It's like Angel Heart.
Are you talking about that movie with Lisa Bonet?
Yeah, and Mickey Rourke is fucking great. Louis Cypher. Anyways, who knows? I don't fucking know.
Bill Burr tackled Caitlyn Jenner.
No, I didn't. I'm getting my head around it, as I should be allowed to do.
All right. Can we find it? There we go. All right, this one's titled, Oh, Jesus. I am a 23-year-old man from Paducah, Kentucky. Now, why would you tell me that? I didn't want to read that. There's probably 18 people in your town, right? Needless to say, there isn't much to do. About 5 months ago, I met a girl who's 2 years younger than me and moved into town from East Cungamunga. We hit it off almost instantly. It was great. You know what? I'm going to have somebody bleep out this city. All right? I got to have him bleep out the city and the state. He goes, we hit it off almost instantly. It was great. She is beautiful, educated, and has a great ass. Sorry. Little Al Pacino for you. We took things slow, and I found that to be something unique in today's time. Most girls give it up within a day or two, but she wanted to take things slow, and I appreciated that. I found myself falling head over heels for this girl. I hadn't been with anyone in over 2 years, and I felt that I felt as if she was a sign that maybe there was a bit of hope in this world to be happy, and she communicated with me that she felt the same way. Okay, so about 2 weeks ago, we went out to a bar, and we had some drinks, played some pool, and had a great time, and ended up getting a little frisky with each other. I drove her home, totally expecting that tonight would be the night I was going to bang this beautiful woman. When we reached her driveway, we started making out in the car and asked if she wanted to come in. She got real quiet and said under her breath, yes, but. And of course, I said, but what? And that's when she told me she is a transsexual. I literally yelled. I was so shocked by what I heard, I could hardly keep myself together. And I told her, him, whatever, that I wasn't going to go upstairs with her and I would call her tomorrow. And she got out of the car crying and said, I was born this way, like some Lady Gaga shit. Wait a minute, what is transsexual? Like a hermaphrodite? Wait a second. Ah, Jesus, Bill, you're too fucking dumb. Why do you guys write me? Is this the fun part of it? Just finding out how fucking dumb I am? Transsexual. This is hilarious. Now I have this on my search engine. Transsexual. And Neil will use my computer and look up like transcontinental, and transsexual is going to come up. Bill, is there something we need to talk about? Transsexual. Here we go. A person who's undergone a sex change operation. A person whose sexual identification is entirely with the opposite sex. All right, well, that just made me even more confused. So if you had an operation, how were you born this way? Or the person saying I just identified with being a female. Oh, I see. Okay, so the dude had a sex change operation. Okay. He goes, I haven't spoke to her since. It's S-I-N-C-E, not S-E-N-C-S-E. That night, besides a few text messages. She's going on about how much she loves me and she is sorry she didn't tell me sooner. It's even gone as far as me having to turn off my phone because she won't stop calling. I've never been pursued like this before. What do I do? Part of me actually feels bad, but I can't see myself banging an ass every night while my sweaty balls slap against her sweaty balls. Now, wait a minute. I thought the person had the operation. Don't they remove that? You know, I don't fucking know. Regardless of how gay this may sound, I still think she's incredibly hot. I knew it was too good to be true. Should I tell her that I'm just not interested anymore and completely cut her off, or should I be her friend? Or should I go bang her ass? It's weird. The thought of banging her ass excites me, but the thought of her junk swinging around makes me want to throw up just thinking about it. Thanks, Bill, and come do a show in such and such state sometime, you fuck. What should you do? I don't know. I honestly don't know. What's funny is you're literally just like, you're mentally where she is sexually. You know? I don't know. Like, it's like you're standing on the state line and you got a foot in either state, just like her, you know? So I think your emotions are normal. And I hate when fucking people get offended by this shit and they go, that fucking you know, they get all offended like that dude is now a woman. It's like, no, that is a dude that fucking is a different kind of dude now. You know, that's not a woman. It's still a dude. It's just a different kind of dude. You know what it's like? You ever see when somebody buys an old car and they take all the chrome off it? They want that nice clean look. Yeah, that's what they do to their crotch. You know, that's a dude that took the chrome off. You know, I don't know what to tell you, other than I don't know. Do like that fucking. I don't know. Do whatever the fuck you want to do. Is what I would say. Let me go back and read what you said. Should I tell him I'm not interested anymore? Complete cut her off. All right. Part of me actually feels bad because I can't see myself banging an ass every night while my sweaty balls slap against her sweaty balls. Well, if it makes you feel better, I don't think the balls are there anymore. Although they might have kept them like a hood ornament. I have no idea. Ah, Jesus. I really am a moron. Regardless of how gay this may sound, I still think she's incredibly hot. You know, why don't you just split the difference and get a blowjob? I don't know what to tell you. That's so funny. I knew it was too good to be true, this poor bastard. I would say this. I'd say you'd want to sit on that decision. Don't be like the Baltimore Colts in the 1983 draft. Did you guys just watch that 30 for 30 where they immediately walked up 2 seconds in and they selected John Elway? You know, rather than fucking waiting the full 2 minutes or whatever to see if anybody gave him an offer. And then they ended up with nothing. I'd sit on this one for a minute. And I think that this person's actually pursuing you the way that they are because they're in a desperate situation, which is the whole thing is, in reality, the whole thing is unfortunate. You know, people should be able to be who they are. You should be able to like who you like, and that person should be able to, from day one, say that they're transsexual without getting judged. The reason why they didn't say it was because they were worried about this fucking moment here, which once again is another sad, depressing thing about humanity. I would say follow your heart, sir. You know, and not your balls if you really want to find love. There you go. Balls in your court. No pun intended. All right. Advice for a young lady. Hey, Billington. Very, very original ones this week. People coming up with different ways to butcher my name. I'm enjoying these. I am in need of some advice for a young lady. I love that some women are actually piping in, despite the fact how much I talk about hockey on this podcast. What are you saying? Women don't like hockey? Yes, this is what I'm saying. I'm an 18-year-old high school senior entering my freshman year of college. I got into my dream school with a scholarship. Do you know how bad I wish that I did that? Wish I studied in high school. Anyways, and I'm moving out of my shithole town, and everything finally seems to be making up for all the shit that I went through in high school. One of my really good friends is going to the same university as I am, and we're renting an apartment together. However, my friend is an 18-year-old straight guy, and I am a straight girl. Uh-oh. The gender thing could add a whole other level of difficulty on top of adjusting to living with a new person in a new city, away from everything I grew up around. We've been friends practically since we were in diapers. We can talk, jam out to 70s rock, and watch the Chappelle Show for hours, and we've never had issues with weirdness before. but I do understand that college introduces a lot of firsts, and I'm not going to lie, I'm a little nervous that having a few too many drinks during a welcome weekend could lead to some inappropriateness. Weirder things have happened. I don't want to do anything to jeopardize our nearly 2-decade-long friendship. So this kind of sounds like you're a little attracted to this guy, that if you're this worried that something's going to happen. Or maybe you're 18, you're going from your parents' house to all of a sudden living with the guy. Maybe that's what it is. I'm going to guess that that's what it is. So anyway, my question. What tips do you have to stop anyone from stepping over the line with the male/female roommate? Also, in general, what tips do you have for living with a roommate? Nia's opinion on this would be epic. Thanks, and fuck you. Yeah, that was Nia's great fuck you last week. You know what? Maybe this Wednesday we'll do another Nia-log, and I'll read this one. But right now, I'll just give you my own ignorant thought on it. Oh, wait. By the way, there's a PS to this, everybody. There's an epilogue, just like the streets of San Francisco. PS, might I add that we've both been in various relationships while friends. He often asks me for girl advice, and I ask him for guy advice. He currently has a girlfriend who I really like and am friends with, but they are breaking up in June when she leaves to study abroad. I am currently single. Oh, yeah, you guys are going to bang within fucking 8 minutes. Within 8 minutes of your college career. All right, so basically what you want to do, you're not asking me should you or should you not move in with this guy. You're going to move in with this guy. So what you're really saying is basically, how do I not fuck this guy? Well, I can only do it from the male perspective, which is what I would do is every morning before I ever even walked out into the living room was I would rub one out. Oh, God. To try to get that fucking, urge out of me. I think what you need to do is sit down and talk with the guy. And just say, listen, we have a great friendship, but I don't want to ruin this. I know we're moving in together and everything. But, obviously we're going to be in close quarters, sharing a bathroom and blah, 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 blah. You know what you have to do? You have to lay down the law, if that's what you really want to do. But if you actually like this guy, like I think you might, if you actually like him and think you could actually, did I just say that? If you like him, do you know what I mean? Do you? Oh my God, you guys, this could be the one. If you actually like this dude like that, then you should not move in with him. You should be in a separate apartment. And that way, if you start dating him, you don't immediately start by living with one another.